We found all the differences between the Whole Foods hot bar in the US and the UK. This is Food Wars. It wouldn't really make sense to compare portion sizes for this episode because it's self-service, so you can kind of choose however much you want. What we'll do instead is compare some options you'll find in both the US and the UK. There's actually not that much overlap when it comes to the hot bar offerings in both countries, but we're going to start with the mac and cheese. I gotta say, looks really good. I'm impressed. This might be the best thing I've had today so far. Yeah, the texture is spot on. The sauce is like silky, glossy, creamy. Genuinely like blown away by the Whole Foods mac and cheese. That's incredible.
Here's what our mac and cheese looks like here in the US. Everyone raves about this mac and cheese. People here really like it. I'm gonna take a piece of the like crispy top. The flavor is pretty good. Add a little hot sauce or something just to add a little kick, but it's not bad. Next up, we have the pepperoni pizza. We are gonna weigh this slice to see how much bigger or smaller it is than the UK's. Our pepperoni pizza slice comes out to 214 grams.
That's a pretty hefty slice. I'd put that around like 288 grams.
And while we're here, let's just count how many pieces of pepperoni we get. We have
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I would add 2 more whole pepperonis based on the halves I see, so that comes out to about 14 pepperonis.
Here we also have the mushroom and caramelized onion pizza. I love mushrooms, love caramelized onion.
We also have a caramelized onion and mushroom slice. I would say that Whole Foods Hot Bar is known for all of its side options. Here we have the potato salad, coleslaw, and broccoli. I am not the biggest fan of potato salad, but let's take a little bite. I actually like the potato salad way more than I like the macaroni salad. That's good.
Here we have the UK versions of the potato salad, the coleslaw, and of course, the broccoli. I'm not actually sure in the UK how common potato salad is. It might just be one of those things that I'm blind to because I haven't grown up eating a lot of it. But I feel like it's not like a staple in the UK maybe, in the same way that it is in the US. Yeah, the mouthfuls where you get more of the bits are good. I think it's some red onion and also some celery, both of which give it a bit of a kick, which I think you need because otherwise it's just potatoes and mayonnaise, which, well, you know, delicious in their own way, not the most balanced, flavorful meal. What is there to say about coleslaw? It's fine. They've made almost no effort to take that like above and beyond. This is what the UK broccoli looks like. It's steamed broccoli. Here is everything from a Whole Foods hot bar in the UK that you won't find in the US.
Here's everything you'll find at the US Whole Foods Hot Bar that you won't be able to find in the UK.
Let's start with what I guess would be the main course items, the real main events. We're starting with a banger. At a UK Whole Foods hot bar, you will find cottage pie. Now, for those who aren't familiar with cottage pie, it's a British delicacy, one of the staples of British cuisine. Basically, you take a mixture of beef mince, vegetables, which in this case seems to include peas, carrots, probably some onion in there as well, and you cook it all down, and then you top it with mashed potato and cheese before baking it all into one delicious mass. Cheers. Yeah, I'm kind of impressed, you know. Next up here, we have the jalapeno chimichurri beef bavette. Bavette, for the American audience, is I think what we call flank steak. I love chimichurri and steak, such a good combination. The people of Argentina really popped off with that one. It's fine. It's definitely overcooked and a bit chewy. Flank steak, or bavette steak, is a much sort of like thinner and traditionally cheaper cut because it is a bit tough. So you have to treat it well. And I'm not sure they've done the best job of it here. Next up we have cod bites. These are pretty straightforward. Pieces of cod which are breaded and fried. Cod is probably the most popular fish in the UK, I would say, especially when it comes to whitefish. It's kind of the default or the gold standard. I quite like that. It's like a slightly more grown-up fish finger. Next up we have some pesto chicken. Doesn't look super appetizing. In addition to the pesto, there's also some veggies in there as well. Got some courgette or zucchini. It's actually pretty good. I like the flavor. It's like creamy, but quite fresh as well. Next up is beef lasagna. I love lasagna. If they've done a really bad job, then it will make me sad. Yeah, I don't love that. They've gone way too heavy on the tomato, which might sound like a weird thing to say about lasagna, but my favorite lasagnas are the more meaty, I suppose. Here we have an orzo pasta with asparagus. I actually get a lot more pea than asparagus in this one. Still tasty, just like slightly false advertising. I was expecting a stronger asparagus flavor. Here we have some barbecue pork. I'm kind of intrigued by this one. It's barbecue pork in, I would say, more of the sort of Chinese barbecue sense. You get some chili in there, 5 spice. I'm into it, it's good. Because we got to the Whole Foods nice and early today, they actually still had their hot breakfast menu. Just to point out, this didn't come in a pre-assembled box. I did have to make my own box, and if you want just the individual items, you can also get them. But if you kind of get all of them, it forms what I would say is like a broad approximation of a full English breakfast. We have our egg-based dish here, which is like an omelette with some herbs in there as well. We have what are effectively like fancy baked beans. You got some grilled or maybe roasted mushrooms, some tomatoes with some spinach, and these adorable teeny little sausages. It might not be the most traditional full English I've ever had, but it's pretty tasty. Whole Foods in the UK also has chicken wings. They also come in a few different flavors. You can either just get plain, you can get piri piri, which we love in the UK, you can get barbecue wings or buffalo wings. It's a pretty good wing, like the flavor is good, bit too gentle maybe. If that's supposed to be piri piri, they got to up their game.
For our hot foods here in the US, we've got Cajun blackened fish and chimichurri chicken legs, zucchini vindaloo, potato samosas, chicken tikka masala. I feel like Harry would want me to try this chicken tikka masala, but it looks so pink that I fear for my life and will not be taking a bite. Let's see if the samosa's any good. I desperately need some dipping sauce, but it tastes pretty good. Out of all the cuisines Whole Foods offer, I do see a lot of Indian dishes specifically, probably because they try to cater to vegan and vegetarian people. Chana masala. That's not bad. This is pretty tasty. Mashed potatoes, barbecue meatloaf. Let's take a bite of the mashed potatoes. They look pretty underwhelming. Like there's not a seasoning in sight. I think they might just be potatoes. They're very buttery and well salted, so that's kind of nice, but I do wish that there was like a little something extra in them. Next, let's take a bite of this barbecue meatloaf. This is like very school lunchy to me. That it doesn't look good, but I promise you it smells really good. I know it looks horrid, okay? I know, but it tastes amazing actually. I really, really like this. It's like sweet and like caramelized from all the barbecue sauce and really flavorful on the inside. I think it's got like onions or something. Some sort of mystery vegetables in this, but it tastes really good. And we've got chicken strips. These are huge. I feel like they're too big to be called chicken strips. Oh, this chicken's cooked. We're good. I'm gonna eat it. That was just okay. Those taste like frozen chicken tenders.
Here are some of the sides we found at our UK hot bar. One thing that seems to be exclusive to the UK is chips. These are, I guess, a thicker cut than maybe like a French fry would be. Pretty good, fine. The next side we have are spinach and mint peas. If you like peas, if you like spinach, you will not be disappointed. That's really tasty. Next up we have rosemary potatoes. Just a little bit too dense for me in the middle. They're pretty good. Not incredible, pretty good. Then a slightly unusual one that we found today. Here is some succotash. It's effectively just corn and butter beans, or I think as Americans call them lima beans, which are cooked down with some herbs and spices. There's some peppers in there, some chilies. It's very sweet. A lot of sweetness from the corn. Pretty good.
And in the US, we have herb roasted potatoes, chipotle lime sweet potatoes, carrots with spring herbs, sesame steamed vegetables. The sesame steamed vegetables smell really good, so let's take a bite. Yeah, these are so good, mostly just because they taste like sesame. And we have white rice, brown rice, and lemon rice.
Another part of the Whole Foods hot bar experience is the pizza. We have a few exclusive slices in the UK. Firstly, we have a margherita. You guys call this a cheese pizza, but they are the same thing. We have 2 chicken pizza options. Firstly, we have this buffalo chicken pizza, although I'm a little bit concerned because it looks like it's covered in mold. I guess maybe this is like a blue cheese dressing, which is effectively just mold, and they've kind of spattered it, and the way it's spattered makes it look like mold growth. Not the most appetizing thing though. I feel like I have to try a bit for science to confirm if it is in fact blue cheese. I am relieved to announce that it is blue cheese. We also have another chicken option, which is barbecue chicken. It's fine, it's okay. Our final exclusive slice that we got today was ham, asparagus, and ricotta. I'm now realizing that's not ricotta, that is very much goat's cheese. I would describe that as like an ambitious pizza. If you like your pizzas a little out there, give that one a try. I think personally I would stick to the classics.
Here are all the pizza options you'll find at the US Hot Bar. We've got cheese, which I think the UK does have.
Margarita.
I actually do like how this cheese looks. It's not the best piece of pizza I've ever had, but coming from a grocery store where you can buy just by the slice like this, it's pretty good. Next, we have garlic ricotta, grilled vegetables. This looks like when all of your vegetables are going bad and you're like, let me figure out something to make with all these. Barbecue chicken? Question mark. I feel like there's maybe a faint sweetness that's coming from the barbecue sauce. I think they might have put it as the base sauce, but there's not enough for them to call this a barbecue slice, in my opinion. I feel like I barely get any barbecue. And then we have the supreme pizza. I think I would still rather get food from the actual hot bar, like those entrees, instead of pizza. This is not it.
Whole Foods in the UK has an extensive salad bar. Interestingly, over here, it's a separate thing to the hot bar. So if you get a salad box, it's one of these folded cardboard boxes. Whereas if you get a hot bar, it's served in one of these cardboard boxes with a plastic lid. There is a price difference between the two, which means that you're not really supposed to mix and match between them. So for example, if I got a salad box, I wouldn't really be allowed to walk over to the hot bar and put a scoop of mac and cheese in there. At the salad bar, you can either piece your own salad together from individual ingredients, or there are a few preset salad options. They've slightly merged into one, but the ones that we have today include this roasted Mediterranean vegetable salad, this sesame chili salad, and then honestly, not sure which one's which, but I think we have a kale and quinoa salad, and also a harissa salad couscous.
Aside from the customizable salad bar, we've also got a ton of pre-made salad options. Let's start with our more vegetable-heavy options, a more traditional salad. First up, we have Caesar salad. I'm a big Caesar salad girl, so I do want to try this Caesar, even though it looks underwhelming. It's not bad, but it does feel like the dressing does come from a bottle, and I really hate bottled Caesar dressing. I like it when it's like freshly made, so this is just okay to me. Next, we have artichoke salad. I've never had artichoke before ever, so I am interested to try it. No, I don't like it. This looks awful to me. It just looks like a plate of stuff. Next, we have cabbage crunch and Asian slaw. We have the kale Caesar, which has boiled eggs in it. They're making some weird choices down at the Whole Foods Hot Bar. We have the field greens and goat cheese, and the summer corn and tomato. And we've got some green/pasta salads too. First up, we have the classic macaroni salad. It's like very, very saucy. It's not very good. There's something about the Whole Foods Hot Bar where they'll take foods that I've eaten like my whole life and make them just like a little weird. Like this doesn't taste like a normal macaroni salad. It tastes like an idea of macaroni salad, but it's not right. Like it's just a little off. Next we have smoked mozzarella pasta salad, spinach feta orzo, miso adzuki farro, ranchero wheatberry salad, lemon cucumber herb couscous salad, bistro pasta salad, strawberry spinach and feta salad, grilled barbecue tofu with mango salad. Let's take a bite of this tofu. You can see the literal grill marks on it. I don't like that. For me personally, tofu has to be very seasoned for me to enjoy it. This just feels like they grilled the tofu and threw it into whatever the dressing is. So it's not doing enough for me to mask that tofu-y taste. So don't love that. Also don't love the dressing. It's just, I don't know. It's not very good. And ginger sesame chicken salad. I have never seen a chicken salad that looks like this. This just looks like pieces of chicken. I think I'm noticing a pattern where the sides are just not as good as some of the other hot foods we've already tried. I don't know, these are missing something.
In the UK, we have a small selection of exclusive soups. There were 3 options today. We have Mum's Chicken Soup. That's a little bit sad, a little bit underwhelming. Next up, we have a minestrone soup. That's pretty good. Nice, rich, tomatoey taste. And then finally, we have a Burmese coconut soup. That's really good.
Here are all the exclusive soups in the US. We've got New England clam chowder, carrot ginger, potato and leek, shrimp and andouille sausage gumbo. It smells like what gumbo should smell like, but I can't go off of that. The consistency looks kind of weird. It's very watery and very bland. Vegan lentil dal with spinach and 5 lobster bisque. It's lobster bisque. This was the soup that when we opened the lid, it was still boiling hot in the container. Like you saw it actually boiling in the container. I don't feel like that's safe. Like the soup should be hot, just not boiling hot while people are serving it. It doesn't taste terrible. The consistency is bizarre. The consistency is very baby food-like. It feels like it's melting in my mouth as soon as it touches my tongue, but not in a pleasant way. So here is my perfect hot bar plate from Whole Foods. I feel like typically what I go for is some kind of protein, a cold pasta salad, just because I love pasta salad, and a couple of vegetable items. The thing about the vegetables though is that some are really heavy. Some of the proteins are also really heavy. So I tried to keep that in mind when plating, just because Whole Foods is so expensive. My total weight came out to around 442 grams, which if you convert that to pounds and multiply by the weight, the total price was $13.57. So let's talk about what I got. This is the chimichurri chicken legs. They smelled really, really good. So let's take a bite. Tastes good. The chicken looks cooked. I'm happy with that. I also got the lemon cucumber herbed couscous salad. I love couscous. No, I wouldn't get that again. It tastes like a mouthful of lemon dish soap. I got carrots with spring herbs, which I don't normally go for carrots, but they sounded yummy to me. They feel very firm and undercooked though. I think the herbs taste like slightly burnt and the carrot is undercooked, so no, wouldn't get that again. And then I got the herb roasted potatoes. These were also very firm when I was picking them up, which makes me think they're also undercooked, but let's see. They're undercooked. The thing about the hot bar is that everything looks pretty good and smells kind of good. All the smells are mingling together. But once you actually pick up stuff that you've never tried before, it's really easy to go in either direction. Love it or hate it. I hated a lot of food today. Out of 10, I would give this plate maybe a 5.5. And most of those points are going to the chicken.
Nico challenged me to assemble my ideal hot bar plate. I'm gonna be honest, I think I panicked a bit, not super thrilled with my choices, but here's what I've ended up with. I ended up with a bit of the cottage pie, which, to be fair, I did actually quite like. I went for some of the rosemary potatoes, which in hindsight were a little bit disappointing, I can't lie. I did get some of that excellent mac and cheese in there, so I'm happy with that decision. And then I added some of those mint spinach peas. All in all, I will say I'm like reasonably happy with this. I could probably have chosen better, given a bit more time and the benefit of hindsight. All in all, I'd probably back this as like a sort of 6.57 out of 10. I was a little bit surprised when we got to the till because this thing ended up weighing 540 grams and costing me £12.95. I think that for the amount of food that I got and for the overall quality and enjoyment level, I think almost £13 is a bit steep.
About a month ago, I went to Whole Foods to do research for this video and saw that the price per pound was $11.99. Since then, that has gone up to $13.99 per pound.
In the UK, the Whole Foods hot bar costs £2.40 per 100 grams. To bring that in line with the US figure, that's $13.64 per pound.
Whole Foods isn't exactly known for being affordable here in America. It was actually nicknamed Whole Paycheck for a while because of how expensive it is. In 2017, Whole Foods was acquired by Amazon and prices did get lower for a bit, but they've since gone back up and it's still one of the most expensive grocery chains in the US.
Whole Foods is definitely considered a more high-end grocery chain here in the UK, maybe comparable to something like a Waitrose. Even compared to Waitrose, I would say Whole Foods is probably less accessible, if nothing else just because of the fact that there aren't that many in the UK. Whole Foods only has 7 stores in the UK, pretty much all of which are in London, whereas Waitrose has, I think, around 329, and they're all around the country. The lack of brand awareness and popularity for Whole Foods in the UK, combined with its high prices, has definitely hit its sales. In 2022, Whole Foods reported a loss of £26.3 million, combined with a 2.9% drop in sales. In response, Whole Foods has tried to incorporate some well-loved UK brands into its range in order to lure in shoppers with some familiarity.
Hot bars have become increasingly popular throughout the years, with more and more grocery stores implementing them to bring in extra revenue. Whole Foods in particular has a pretty big following when it comes to its hot bar. I have friends who don't even shop at Whole Foods, they just go in for the hot bar. I think people think the high price is worth it because they think the quality is good. That's kind of Whole Foods' whole thing, is their quality standards. And Whole Foods actually doesn't even make their food in-house. It hasn't since 2017. After quite a few food safety issues, Whole Foods closed its in-store kitchens and switched to a third-party food production facility for its prepared foods. So they make the food, they send it off to Whole Foods, and then Whole Foods heats it up and serves it.
I think there's some supermarket psychology behind what makes hot bars so appealing. People are often willing to spend a little bit more just for the convenience. It's very easy to overfill your container and then end up paying a little bit more. And also just seeing it there and experiencing the smells does make it pretty tempting. Buffet-style dining is definitely still popular in the UK and it's something that Brits do enjoy. I do think it's had a drop in popularity, obviously as a result partly of the pandemic and just general consumer habits changing as well.
I used to frequent the hot bar a lot pre-COVID, but since then I rarely go. I definitely feel a little scared to get sick from food a lot of strangers have been touching. I've also read too many horror stories about hot bar / buffet food, like people getting really serious illnesses or rat poison being sprayed on the food. That one actually happened at a Whole Foods. Look it up. When it comes to the foods that I think are worth it at the hot bar, you know I love that meatloaf. It was actually pretty tasty to me. I do think the mashed potatoes were fine. They have a lot of great range with their salad options, which I thought was pretty nice. I definitely avoid the pizza. Check your chicken, make sure it's not pink when you cut into it. Be suspicious at the Whole Foods hot bar. Whole Foods is known for its organic products. It says it's the first and only certified organic national grocery store. All of its organic foods have to meet several quality standards. They've banned over 300 colors, preservatives, flavors, and other additives like high fructose corn syrup, and they've got this huge list of banned ingredients on their website, which I will show you on the screen now.
Here in the UK, Whole Foods has banned over 230 ingredients from its stores. I think that number's lower because the UK and the EU already outlaw some chemicals that you guys are using in the US, but unfortunately in the UK we can't see the full list, so I can't be certain.
There is research that says organic diets can lead to less pesticide exposure, which in turn might help prevent certain diseases, but when it comes to nutrition, there's not much of a difference between organic and regular diets.
Another way Whole Foods claims to maintain its ingredient quality is through its animal welfare standards. For example, one of its baseline standards is that all of its beef, cattle, sheep, and goats must spend at least 2/3 of their life on pasture. I guess this would be a good point for me to admit that I really have never been to a Whole Foods before. I think today was maybe the second time in my life that I've been to a Whole Foods. I think if I had to pick a few things that Whole Foods was maybe slightly known for in the UK, it would probably be maybe some bougie snacks, things like green juice. I think generally things that are associated more with that kind of like LA influencer culture.
I think in America, people definitely associate Whole Foods with organic food. That's like their whole big thing. They also have a lot of health and wellness vibes. One of the core values on Whole Foods website is to nourish people and the planet. They give off this very go green, all natural, organic health vibe, which is what they're most associated with here. You walk into a Whole Foods here and they have a lot of like supplements, vitamins, soaps that are all handmade and organic. So I feel like they're trying to give you the feel of like a farmer's market or something, just in a grocery store setting. Whole Foods has a distribution partnership with UNFI, which is a natural and organic food distributor that's recently been seeing an uptick in unionization amongst its workers. This past May, Whole Foods and UNFI renewed their partnership, which is interesting considering that Whole Foods tracks stores that are at risk of unionizing. Union busting is not uncommon for large companies, but it is.
I don't even really know if I have any Whole Foods hot takes, to be honest. I've, like I say, not established enough of an opinion on it to know. I do think it's expensive. I don't think there is an enormous amount of demand for it among the UK. I'm just not really sure who it's serving other than this kind of bougie London elite.
After today, I'm a Whole Foods hater. I think I have to be. The food wasn't worth the price in my opinion, but whatever, they'll be fine.
You know when you watched cartoons as a kid and the dog would like steal a string of sausages and it always looked really appetizing? Kind of getting that vibe from these, you know? I want to like grab these from a butcher shop and sprint down the street.